Tom.
Go back!
We were riding down this block, and these white people start saying, "Get out of here, niggas. You know, get out of my neighborhood. Don't come to this neighborhood." Then they start hitting on her.
Throwing rocks and everything else.
Throwing rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood.
We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody.
We had a nice
parade down there. We saw a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. All right. I mean, we didn't bother anybody. We weren't looking for trouble. I never even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
What happened to you?
Nothing happened to me, but this little boy, short boy about my size, or little short, had picked up a rock, and he was in the front of all these tall honkies. But he threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I was sure wish he had hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right dead in his face. They always say niggas are doing everything. They always say we're doing everything, right? We didn't, every time the white people come down the block, we don't push them out their neighborhood and throw rocks and start hitting them. We don't bother the white people around our neighborhood, but when we get in a white neighborhood, they just push us out.
Yeah. Everybody was upset. They said we're nothing, you know, they were a piece of dirt, dogs. I mean, that's the way you treat an animal. I mean, God, we're human beings. You don't treat other people like that. It's just wrong. Black, white, I don't care. A person is a person. Skin should have no bearing on how you treat a person. That's just wrong.
I hate their goddamn guts.
I can't say that I hate them. I can't say that it's totally the kids' fault. I mean, I'm sure their parents had some bearing on the way they feel and everything else. I think it's just the system. I don't know. I can't say that I hate them because I don't hate anybody.
Do you forgive them?
No. No. Can't take back no hurt. But they gonna always do that. They always spit on us like we some dogs. They always gonna spit back on them. Ain't nothing gonna change.
This is what it means to live in the 1970s. You know, the black folks then goes through a lot of what I can call racial profiling. People, of course, you can see in the video that those were actually kids, teenagers, that were riding bicycles and they were told to turn back. Meanwhile, they were also riding bicycle and they are telling them to go back, that they are not welcome in that place. And that's exactly what people are going through, what people went through that time.
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in the 20s, when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. And now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think they've lost their sense of somewhat, which I deplore.
What do you think are the differences between the races?
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. I've tried here to promote people to foremen, superintendents, but they just refuse to do it. They just don't want the responsibility. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible that white people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. The white man has certainly been prejudiced and to quite an extent unfair. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time, and everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, knowing Negroes as we think we do, we realized it would take time. It's been compared to straightening teeth. It takes a slow, steady pressure. You can't do it with a hammer. And white people's attitudes will change in time. I'm a lot more liberal than I was 5 years ago, and I know I'll be a lot more liberal 5 years from now, and I think almost everyone else is in that category.
What has tended to make you more liberal?
Well, realization that the Negro is a human being like anyone else.
Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet, something, or rather someone, we had to take care of, because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do almost everything for them, except living their own lives. Anything outside, we had to do for them.
So Daisy was my little playmate, my maid, my friend, and the daughter of old Catherine, who was a cook that we adored. And so all those years, we played together, and everyone was happy. We never heard of all these things that we hear about today. And there were nearly 100 enormous rice plantation with many animals around and a beautiful old house and about 100 colored people there. But we loved them, they were our friends. And then it's no disgrace to say they're like children. When we say that, it's because they are like happy children, some of them. Because they like to sit in the sun rather than work hard. And they'd rather play than work.
If you could, would you paint a picture for us of what it was like on the plantation in your early days?
It was a lovely, happy time, living in open spaces with many lovely colored people and animals and flowers and fields. My father had everything thoroughbred, from the pigs, horses, the dogs, and the people had to be thoroughbred. And we would get into a buggy with him and drive to the plantation from what we call the pine land where we lived. And we would spend, every Saturday this was, and we would spend the day in old Fortune, I can see him now, would give us dinner, and we would have a heavenly time. And old April, he was the dairyman. That's all he did. All he did was to skim the cream over these great big bowls of clabber and put them in the wooden churn and churn this marvelous fresh butter. That was April's job. He didn't do anything else but love us and skim the cream.
From the interview, you can see what the man said. He said, black humans are seen as superior pets. In other words, they are the higher version of pets that they own in the home, because they were actually owned that time by these white folks. And of course, the woman also said that the grandchildren of those people were not actually happy. And question is, how can they be happy when they know what has been done to their parents, to their grandparents, to their great grandparents during the slave, era? Some of those things that were done, they were unspeakable. They're actually unspeakable, unfathomable, unreasonable. And anyone that is in this dispensation and when is exposed to the atrocities that were done to those people back then, you can't but not be happy. You can't but not, be sad, because humans, especially the black folks, were treated as lesser human beings, as inferior beings, and a lot of things happened to them. And what is even more emotional to me is the fact that when in the first video that we watched at the intro, when one of the guests were asked, "Have you forgiven have you forgiven her? And she was like, I can't forgive her because this is what they are not going to change. This is going to happen again and again. She said it straight. And the other one says, does it mean that you hate her? And the other one said, the one that is a bit older said, I can't say I hate her because they are children. That is not their fault. It is their parent that told them or taught them some of those things that they were doing. That was so touching to me. For me, that's the peak of the video, of the response, because the girl have every right and every reason to say that I hate them because they're treating us bad. They don't they. And she was asked, "Do you hate them?" Saying, I can't say that I hate them because it is their parent that taught them most of those things they are doing. And that is the truth. And that is what it means to live at that time. A lot of things were going on, and those children exhibit such characters, such behaviors. And you wonder, why are they doing that? Yes, it is indeed their parent that told them that the black folks, when you see them behave in a particular manner that is not reasonable, that is not friendly, be hostile to them, be all sort of things were directed to the black folks that time. And those kids, black children growing up in the 70s, they saw a lot of things that are not pleasant. And they can't be happy. And you can see those people then, they are now in their 40s, in their 50s. Tell me, it will only take God for those memory not to be there, for those memory to fade away, and you don't remember them. The truth is, you'll always remember them, but it will take God for you to forgive and let go, and not even teach your children such hate. But this is the balance. The black folks have learned not to teach hate, but they've learned to tell their children to be strong because they're going to see things that are not pleasant, that are not honorable when they go out, that is going to be meted to them. But this is where I belong. Teach your children to be bold, to be strong, to know that they are superior, that they are not inferior, they are strong, they are better, they are wiser. This is where I belong. And that is what the black folks have been doing. And that is why I also want to encourage every parent to do to their words. Let them know that when you go out there, you're going to meet all sort of things that are not pleasant, but you've got to be strong, and you've got to show that you're stronger than them. This is where I belong. And of course, I'm sharing this video so we can know that is what the world has become. As black folks, we must be stronger. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. If today's your first time, do me a favor, like this channel and subscribe to my channel. And of course, credit belongs to every creator of content that is shared on this platform. Thank you, and bye-bye.